This is Evan and Kaan. They're from Weave Robotics. They're building robots that are ready to deploy now to take on numerous tasks, and I'll let them explain exactly what they're up to next. So please give a warm round of applause to Evan and Kaan. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for the patience as we sorted out the situation with the presentation. But my name is Kaan. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Weave Robotics, and this is Evan, my co-founder. And today we're going to be talking to you about building the next product category, or how robots will enter your homes. And what a great place to do this other than the Computer History Museum. So this is the Macintosh 1. It was a breakthrough product at the time. It was the first personal computer that had a graphical user interface that was intended for the masses. And it perfectly embodies why this is such a great location for this conference, where we get to see giants that came before us essentially trying to do what we all are trying to do, and introducing a new product category, but for personal computers. We get to see their work, their successes, their failures. And while the Macintosh 1 wasn't widely adopted, it was a necessary step to where we got to with personal computers today. I imagine that you all have laptops, iPhones, smartphones now. How did we get there? Well, I want to talk a bit about this Apple product roadmap leading up to the iPhone. Look at how diverse this map is. There's many different products here, starting from 1976, going all the way to the iPhone. This is very intentional. Apple is conducting search, essentially, with every single product release, trying to find the right product for the right time. Apple was searching for the right product in 1976 when it introduced Apple I, the right product in 1984 when it introduced Macintosh, and the right product in 2007 when it introduced the iPhone. When it introduced Apple I and II, it was intended for hobbyists. When it introduced the Macintosh line, it was intended for everyday people. And while it wasn't widely adopted by everyday people at the time, their successors, the MacBook in 2006, was a wide success, and now I see a lot of MacBooks here. And I'm not going to go through this whole list, but I do want to talk about the Newton. The Newton was introduced in 1994 by John Sculley, not Steve Jobs, and it was a personal digital assistant, and it came at kind of like the height of the excitement around personal digital assistants. It was not a success, and it was one of the first things that Steve Jobs did when he returned to Apple to discontinue the product. Not because he disagreed with the principles, but it was not the right product for the right time. Steve Jobs later introduced the iPhone in 2007, based on very similar principles as PDAs. It went on to become the most successful consumer product, arguably ever. Right product for the right time. So I know we're here to talk about humanoids, but I'm going to be very controversial and very straight to the point here. Full bipedal humanoids are the Newtons of our times. There's a lot of great technological work happening, a lot of great talent working on these, but they are not yet well-defined products. And this goes back to why we founded Weave Robotics. When we looked at the industry, we saw a whole slew of products that could be built that could add value right now, not 5 to 10 years from now. And that's why we left Apple to build Weave, to build the products and build the robots that we wanted to see in our homes. So what does that product look like? How do we get there? How do we define it? Well, we did what we do best, and we sat down on our couch, and we thought about what these robots should look like, what they should feel like in our homes. What does it look like when it's short? What does it look like when it's tall? What does it do when it's not working? Where does it go? How tall does it get? Does it fall? The answer is no. Well, does it fall only once a year? No, the answer is still no, right? And those informed the design principles of the first robot that we put together. This is our Isaac V3. It's actually a third iteration, but it embodies the design principles that we sought from day one. It's a wheeled base, It's a height adjustable torso with 2 arms and simple yet very capable grippers. It was this practical design that got our robots into homes as the very small team that we are and got it to fold my laundry for months. Very quickly, we realized that there was another embodiment that we could build that could be useful from day one. This is Treadle, and you might have seen it if you went into the exhibition area. It's a modified version of V3, but most importantly, it's a stationary base. And we did this because we and businesses we are now partnered with in San Francisco realized that we can just plop this thing and it'll just do work as long as there's work to do. So these work 24/7 and do tons of laundry in laundromats that you can visit today.
So we at Weave are laser focused on building the robots that Kaan was just describing to you all. And if we had to distill that down into a few words that capture that ethos, it would be that robots need to be both practical and they need to be capable. This is our focus, but we also submit that it should be the focus of all robotics builders. Fail to accomplish either one of these, and you could end up with a product that doesn't actually solve any particular problem well, or you could also end up building something that's so prohibitively expensive that it's actually economically unsound for the business, for your customers, or for both of you. And we actually submit that there is a right way to go about building robots that embody these principles. And it starts with actually choosing the right specific problems. This should be a function of the builder's intuition of what people will pay for, and indeed what can be built quickly. Only once you pick problems to solve can you think about what is absolutely essential for solving that problem, and then designing and building and deploying something to solve those problems as quickly as you can in order to solve problems and learn quickly in the real world. I should take a moment to note that especially for companies that are responsible for the hardware portion of their product too, this is one of those times when it really pays to vertically integrate as much as is necessary to solve the problems that you've chosen. Not be vertically integrated for its own sake, but in order to make the best possible thing and in order to build it as quickly and iterate as quickly as necessary to get to something even better in the next generation. We are a young company. We've only existed for a year and change, and we've only had a few months since we made our very first design prototype. But this strategy is already paying off for us. By being vertically integrated, we were able to build robots that are so economically feasible that we can deploy them to large businesses and mom and pop shops alike. This is a video from one of our deployments to a store owned by 2 people named Justin and Kay in Noe Valley in San Francisco. Going forward, we intend to continue embodying this ethos of building robots that are practical and capable. We intend to do so because it was that very design process that birthed some of the best products of our time. And it stands to reason that such a process is the right one to follow when you are trying to build the most important product category of all time, which will be general purpose robots. Building something that solves specific problems, learning quickly from your customers, being vertically integrated so that you can then take what you learn and make the next iteration even better. This is how you build and evolve this incredibly important category, and perhaps most important of all, how you make sure that you distribute the benefits of that all-important product category to as many people as possible and as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We have time to kill, man. So we have about 5 minutes. Is there anyone who has questions for the Weave team? We already have a taker. If we could bring a mic over here for this gentleman. It's a race. Who will get there first? There we go.
So for the laundromat use case, you didn't specify if it's teleoperated or is it autonomous. And then whatever the answer is, my question is, what's your view on the difference of doing either way? Because there are pros and cons for doing fully autonomous versus doing teleoperation as sort of a transitional phase, and then eventually your model gets better, and then you can do everything fully autonomously. That's the question.
Yeah, we bring both to our approach. So we are able to interleave autonomy with teleoperation in order to get the job done. And we make sure to build teleoperation into the solution because what matters most to our customers is that we actually complete each and every fold and with quality, and doing so on shirts, shorts, pants, undergarments that we've never seen before. So performance coupled with speed is what really, really matters to them. And we are able to deliver because of that combination of autonomy and teleoperation from day one.
Yeah. But from the cost perspective, if you consider doing this from, for example, a lower cost labor region, such as in Mexico or even other places, and then further, expanding that thought, you can do democratization of labor. So it's like equivalent of a Airbnb or Uber of gig economy, for example, and then just do it that way. I'm sure you've thought about it, but love to hear.
Yeah, one thing that I'll say is that one should not assume that it is always one person to one robot. We have actually built for something more economical than that.
Yeah, the only thing I also wanted to follow up to mention there is there's two trends here that are in the favor of our economics. One is our autonomy percentage increases every day, right? And that scales with how many robots we have. And we're building, the robots that you see outside, we literally built in the past couple days, right? We're building them every week. And then the other is, as you said, there's opportunity to go to lower wage labor countries as well. But at this point, we're very happy with at what point in the autonomy/teleoperation curve we actually become profitable.
How much of a concern is the latency issue when you do remote with teleoperation?
Can you clarify what you mean by agency?
Latency.
Latency.
Latency, sorry. Because if you do it from far away, then is that going to be a concern? Because the whole teleop experience will be different.
It's a good question, and there's infrastructure already built to solve this problem. Some of it is in-house. We operate all of our robots, regardless of if it's in our internal, like testing deployments or external, remotely, on top of our own teleoperation stack to make sure that we're constantly pushing that latency number down to the physical limits as much as possible. When it comes to operating it from not just Mexico, but like overseas, for example, there's more infrastructure that needs to be built, but this is something that has been kind of like solved by other industries as well.
And I would add one more thing to this, which is that in a phrase, the deployment is the strategy here. The sooner that you actually get out into the real world and exercise things over a wide area network, the sooner that you can find out that you even have a latency problem or not. And so by actually cycling these robots for months now at multiple of our deployment sites, we've known exactly where the long pole is and addressed the problem.
I think we have time for one more quick question. This gentleman in the blue coat. Blue sweatshirt, sorry.
No problem, thank you. I appreciate your brief presentation, but you guys covered a lot of ground, so thank you for that. My question is, other than folding laundry, if you feel comfortable telling us, what are some of the other problems that you considered attacking or that you've already decided to go after next? Yeah, we're also interested in tidying up objects off of floors and surfaces, and this has found us budding home in the hospitality industry. And we also are engaged in conversations with different companies of varying sizes, including some that are publicly listed, for manufacturing needs. One thing that vertically integrating has allowed us to do is to drive our bill of materials, our BOM cost, down to one that is, to the best of our knowledge, literally unmatched for Tradle, the workhorse, the B2B focused unit that Kaan was talking about earlier. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much. It was a great presentation. Please give them a round, everybody.